guys? Today is April 15th, 2025, 4:52 p.m. It's Tuesday, and it is episode 544, I think. I was thinking today a lot about the decisions that I've been making recently, and I've been thinking about my, I don't know, for lack of a better term here, story, my story, kind of the choices that I've made in life that have gotten me to where I am. And, you can always connect the dots backwards and it always lines up the way that you want when you connect them backwards, because it's a giant canvas and you can connect things however you want, And I was just thinking about, so what goes through my mind is, we have people, we'll just use Andy Frisella as an example. A lot of people know who that is. He tells his story all the time of, I slept in the back of my supplement store. I made $800 my first 6 years of business and, slept on this piss-stained mattress that I was going to go into my mouth and just kept showing up. Like that's his story, and that's what he did. And I was thinking about my story and I'm like, okay, well, I pretty much was so caught up in trying to make something work that I didn't even consider the fact that maybe it just wasn't for me, or maybe that it sounded so much better in my head, dude. It's like all this time I had been trying so hard to make something work because I wanted to make it work, to know that I could make it work. But this whole time, it wasn't even about making it work. It was about trying to find something that I actually liked doing. And again, it still sounded way better in my head. But I don't know. There's so many signs in my life that point toward the general direction of what I'm trying to do. Maybe it's not necessarily coding, but the puzzle problem solving, math, calculations, percentages, automation, optimization, efficiency shit. I love that. I mean, guys, a couple weeks, 3 weeks ago, it's probably more than that, 3 or 4 weeks ago. No, it's probably 3 weeks ago. Doesn't matter. We got this thing at work and it says, hey, we're going to be tracking everybody's efficiency scores. And all of a sudden we finished our asset 13 days ahead of schedule. They give us 31 days to do it, and we accomplished the work that they gave us for 31 days in 18. Now, that wasn't us speeding. That wasn't us trying to bend rules to go as fast as possible at all. It was just, we're clocked in, and so we're going to work. And I've said that so much in the last 3 weeks of episodes, because where I work, you clock in, and then the first 15 minutes, everyone's still in the break room. The next 15 minutes or the next 45 minutes, most people are still at their desk doing, I don't know, whatever. It's all good. I mean, if I can do that, I will. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm better than. And then after that, people start working. And then rather than working, because you're at work, they'll do a little bit here and then they'll sit at their desk. And I used to do the same exact thing. Now what I do and my teammate do is we do the work for the day. And as soon as we actually cannot continue, that's when we stop. So if we paint something and then it's got to take 8 hours for it to dry or for it to cure or whatever the case may be, a chemical, a sealant or whatever, then that's our day. And then we just hang out. And so for me, it's so much more motivating to want to just grind it out, get to that next stopping point so that I can go at my desk and whip out my laptop and start working on my own stuff. That honestly makes the job 10 times more valuable for me and kind of makes me want to be there more. Like I'm getting paid to work on my own stuff in some sense. And I think that's really, really cool. And so when they introduced this efficiency score, I'm like, oh, dude, yeah, leaderboard, I'm in. And I think I've said this before, but I went and got my efficiency score report for the last 2 weeks and found that I had been, because there's a few people in the shop that don't work on stuff. They kind of just go around and help whoever. So of course their ratings are going to be higher because they're just in and out. But I was looking at it and it was pretty cool because my supervisor was showing me my stats, but in doing so, everyone else's stats were there. And I got to see everybody else's efficiency score. And me being me, I was like, what do we have here? And it was me and another guy. And we were the top in the shop at 180. Roughly, it was like the high 180s, low 180s for each of us. Meaning, they give us, and I talked about this before, but they give us 10 hours to do one thing, and we do it in about 6.5 hours. Or 6 hours, I should say. Yeah, it's probably closer to 6. I did the math before. It was 6 hours. It's probably actually closer to like 5.5. No, it'd be 6. I don't know. But that's cool. And that's not me trying to speed. I actually don't even know how you would, because we do a lot of meticulous shit. You got to really take your time. Otherwise, it's going to look like horse shit. But it's all good. But I saw that and I was like, damn, dude, I'm just not taking 18 breaks like everybody else does. And I used to do that same thing. It used to be something that took 3 hours. We would make it take all day. And that's what we would do. But now that I don't do that anymore, I'm much more motivated and excited to work because I can get pumped up. And that's a long way of saying, like, I've just been kind of brushing past all these signs in my life, trying to make something else work for the sake of making it work and not being a failure, you know? Part of me feels like, you know, I was too lazy, or I didn't try enough, or I didn't get out of my comfort zone enough, or whatever, and that's why the fitness coaching thing didn't work. But we'll just say that all of that's true. But also, you know, it's a different kind of business, and one that I guess I just don't really want to be in, you know? And it does suck, you know, that I've, you know, invested all this time and money into the mastermind that I'm in. But I did make a few connections. I did meet a lot of people that were very cool. And it's cool stuff, dude. It's very cool to see the business side of things. It also sucks that you can't go to the live calls that are hosted 3 times a week because you work. You know, I even said that on my call. So I actually recorded the onboarding call, and you know, Brian said not to post it, but shit, if I posted it now, I'd probably be fine. But I recorded that, and I even said on the call, dude, I don't know if I should join. I can't even make those calls. It seems like they're very important. He said, yeah, I totally understand. And I kind of wanted him to make some kind of budge, like, oh, okay, well, if you can't make the calls, then we'll do this or something, you know, but, oh, it's all fine. Anyway, so I joined, and the rest is history. So I gotta say, though, and I talked about it yesterday, and the reason why I'm recording this now instead of outside, honestly, for the next 70 days, you're probably going to get a lot of outdoor episodes. So if you don't like those, or if they're bad quality, sorry, but it's just much easier for me. But I talked about it yesterday, but I'm going to talk about it more today. I got to record it now because I gotta head out a little bit later, and I'm not gonna have time to do all this when I get home. At least I don't want to. I want to go to bed. But just thinking about stuff, man, it's really refreshing. It's just almost like a fresh start, you know, a completely different direction. I truthfully want to delete, and I don't mean delete like remove, get rid of forever, but I just mean like absolutely just remove things that I have been trying to take down for so long, similar with how I removed all my videography pages and my graphic design pages and my photography pages, and I, you know, deleted all that. Truthfully speaking, there's people in my past, specifically exes, where as soon as I come across an old photo, I just delete it. I don't even think about it, and I just want to get rid of certain chapters, not to forget, but because I don't want to even think about it anymore. I don't want it to entertain. I don't want it to take up mental headspace. You know, so that goes with fitness coaching. You know, that's great. I love a lot of things about it, but it just so happens that how you grow and how you scale seems like, for me, a lot of that is stuff that I would rather never ever do, you know? Now, with coding and selling software and stuff, I'm sure I'm going to have to get to that point. But for now, I'm going to focus on developing the high income skill that is software development, and we'll go from there. So if it takes a year, if it takes 2 years, I don't care. I just want to make this happen because, dude, I got to tell you, again, I feel so liberated. I feel great. It's like I just want to completely remove myself from all things fitness coaching, take it out of my bio, take all the photos down, and just be a fucking person for a second again, you know? Not have to worry about doing everything on Facebook for business things, and not have to worry about DMing people. Not that I did that anyway. I was very lazy with that. Not have to worry about trying to sell people some shit. all the time in the DMs, like, hey man, I see they're struggling. Sign up for my program, you know? And I was talking with Lexi about this too, but there's just so many different limiting beliefs, if you want to call them that I have around this shit. And she actually believes very similar to me in the sense that we got in shape because we wanted to get in shape, because we realized we were not confident, or we were too big, too small, whatever the case may be for each of us. And we just started to take our shit serious. And then so we did. We didn't have to be convinced that we needed help. We just took it and we saw it within ourselves, like, hey, I need to take this more serious, or I need to start lifting weights, or I need to start doing whatever. And then we did. And so I've talked about it. I wish that's what I'm talking about, man. I can't wait to get some kind of team or some kind of program or AI. Maybe that'll be figured out my first project for coding. I'm going to find some kind of transcriptor software that goes through all this and categorizes the episodes. Dude, figured it out. Fuck a team. I'm the team, motherfucker. There is an I in team. It's called me. All right? Dude, how arrogant can you be? That was all a joke. But no, for real, that'd be sick if I could. Would that be hard? Is the transcription part of shit, is that difficult to code? How do you code that? Is that hard? Let's see what ChatGPT has to say about that. Is it difficult? Okay, hold on. Would it be difficult to code a software that transcribes audio for me and then extracts key data and tags the show with a specified tag from an array of tags? Let's see what it says. No, here's the breakdown. Transcription easy. Use OpenAI, Whisper, or any speech-to-text API. A few lines of code. That's what I love to hear. Extracting key data, moderate. Requires NLP, don't know what that is, to summarize or extract keywords. Use tools like Spassy, NLTK. It's not a personality type? I don't know. Or OpenAI's GPT API. All right, we're the government? What's up with all these acronyms, dude? OpenAI GPT API. CMXGMXSG. God damn. Tagging from array. Easy. Create an array of tags and compare. It's not what I just said. Create an array of tags that compare extracting keywords to list, tag if there's a match. If you're not technical, use tools like Zapier, Whisper AI, and GPT, Airtable, or Notion. If you're coding yourself, Python is the fastest to implement this. Great, not using it with Python. What kind of key data are you looking to extract? Topics, timestamp, names. Okay. Each audio file is about, on average, 45 minutes. I feel like, I'm going to say 30 minutes. Up to 3 hours, as low as 2 minutes. I want to extract all the key data from these files as they are podcasts, and I want to build life timeline of key events and all the valuable stuff from some entrepreneurial journey. All right, this is what I'm talking about. I'm already shitting my pants at the thought that I could make this for me, and then I could just have that. I'm sitting here talking about a team, bro. I could fucking make the machine myself, and I would love every second of it because I get to make the shit, dude. Okay. So the goal is to turn long-form audio, podcast, and structured timeline, key life events, lessons. Okay, transcription, auto, use open. Okay. Okay, a lot of this is great. Would this be hard? Okay. Can I make this in Swift? What you can do is build an app that uploads, records audio, displays the timeline visually, lets you edit tags, events, timestamps, store data locally. What you should not do in Swift: transcription, AI processing, NLP tagging. Yeah, okay, so use Python. Okay, Python's a language. Swift is a language for coding. It's like English, Spanish, Italian, Romanian, all these different languages. Some of them are very similar. Some of them are not. You know, you have Arabic, and you have English. You have Hindu. Hindi? Whatever, which one. What is best? Swift is built for AI. Is not built for AI or audio scale. Okay, so how similar are Python and Swift? They're similar in some logic, but very different structure and purpose. Excellent. Both are high-level, readable, beginner-friendly. Use variables, functions, loops, statements. Both use indentation for clarity. Syntax is clean, minimal. Cross-platform. You can learn both side by side. Knowing Swift will make Python easier and vice versa. Okay, let's just do this. How long to build this if working 6 hours a day? It's giving me timestamps and timelines of learn Swift and basics, build basics with Swift, learn basic Python. It's okay. See, this is where my mind, I think it's because I'm so naive. I expected it to say like 9 months or some shit. I don't know, because it's just I don't know anything, but it said 18 to 29 days. To think that this thing that I said yesterday was going to take me in the next 10 years, I can do it in the next month if I learn the shit. This excites the fuck out of me. Because then I could make my own, I could make my own shit. This podcast would be fucking elite. I'd have a whole goddamn, that'd be sick. Is there a way to code it so once it's live on Spotify, it'll automatically do all this shit for me? Dude, does that mean I could code my own podcast? Can I code all my own shit then? And then use all my own shit? Bro, the possibilities are endless. Can I make because all Podbean is a place to host my podcast through an RSS feed, which stands for really simple syndication. And I believe you can do that really anywhere, but I think there's limits. I don't know. Okay, let's see. Auto fetch new podcasts. Yes, you can automate this entire pipeline. Here's how to make it fully hands-off after publishing. Use Spotify's RSS feed, or it's like it's listening to me talk, dude. Set up a scripted check for new podcasts daily. Grab the audio file automatically. There's a lot of steps here. I'm not going to read them all. See, this excites the fuck out of me, dude. And dude, if this doesn't make a single dollar for the next 20 years, I mean, that would suck. But if it didn't, you can bet your ass I'd be having a heyday every time I sit down at my desk. I think 20 years is too long. If I wasn't making $1 for 20 years, I'm doing something wrong. 10 years, I feel like is more understandable. 5 years, I would say, yeah, it's fine. Anything less, I think. And who knows, man? I thought it was going to take 9 months. It said, yeah, a couple weeks. And I'm like, what? The reason why I say 6 hours a day is because if you average the weekend or something like that, then, what do you call it? If I work 5 days a week, you say that I have from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. I have to go to the gym. So we'll just say 4 hours a night, 5 days a week. That's 20. And we have Sunday, Monday. Thinking of Lexi's schedule. If I have a Saturday I would have 12 hours. Sunday I would potentially have 6. So that, we'll just say 8, easy math. So we got 40 total hours. 40 divided by 7 would be about almost 6. Actually really short of 6. I think it's 5 point something. Siri, what is 40 divided by 7? Or fuck.
40 divided by 7 is approximately 5.7142.
Siri, what is 40 divided by 6?
It's approximately 6.6666.
Hey, Grandma. Hey, got something for you. Oh, I almost said that no, I didn't. I'm looking at the wrong thing. My music is paused at 6:58, and I'm like, wow, I'm 8 seconds off. I have a hypothetical 666. Fun fact, when you set the timer on the microwave for a minute and a half, do you type in 130 start? Do you push 30 seconds 3 times? Or do you type in 90 start? Because 90 is the fastest way to do it. That was me just kind of being me. Plays right into this whole fucking podcast episode. That's what I'm saying, dude. I feel much more aligned with so much shit, you know? The fact that I'm getting so hyped up over this and the fact that it is a possibility and I can do it. And Mr. Gabriel Pete Thomas here is telling me that I can do it in 19 days to 20 days, you know? Shit for my ass is going to take a lot longer than that. I'll tell you what, if I don't know anything, then yeah, it's going to take longer. But that's sick. Let me ask it this. I'm going to move on from this. Could I make my own podcast website to host my shit? They already asked it that? Yes, you can build and host your own podcast website with upload, streaming, Firebase, or embed them in YouTube. I just want to add to be there. Newsletter, opt-in, blog post for episodes, resource products link. Static site, dev stack. See, this is a lot of shit I don't know. We're talking Webflow, MemberStack, Airtable, Bubble, Zapier, Firebase, React, Firebase, Node.js, GPT API, Next.js, Vercel, Notion as CMS. I don't know what half that shit is. No idea. How long would this take with beginner coding experience? 6 hours a day. It's going to say learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript basics, 5 days. Learn React or Webflow, 4 days. Build basic podcast site layout, 5 days. I feel like that's already way too fast for me, but total 3 to 5 weeks. I just disagree. I feel like that's so fast. I'm one guy. I don't know. What if I could make it so... Damn, that's a just crazy thought. I can make my own Typeform. I can make my own Calendly. I can make my own Google Calendar. Do all these different things because I just simply wanna, you know? How sick would it be to have your own fitness app, you know, like Everfit or Trainerized or whatever, and integrate just everything into it? Call it Fit Ultra, Allegiant Fit. Repurpose the name. Kind of shitty that I got the LLC in Allegiant Excellence and oh man. Live and learn, huh? It's all good. I did make money with it, so I think come tax season next year, that's gonna be a pickle for me. Because again, I've only ever filed taxes for myself, and every single time I've ever done it in my life, it's always been the simple shit. You know, no crypto, no real estate, no donations, no charity. No alimony, no child support, not all of that shit, you know. Some people, you know, they really gotta go through the ringer with that shit, but not I. So going and saying, yep, got a business, yep. Made $100, yeah. And yeah, let's get it going, you know, and then having to do all that. The government's gonna say, oh, you made $100? Oh, appreciate that. We'll go ahead and take 97. That's tax. All right, appreciate ya. Good luck next year, you know. Okay, anyway, so hopefully you can at least tell by the fact of what I'm talking about here, how I'm talking about it, that I just feel much better about so much. I just feel good, dude. It feels good to just focus on what I want to focus on, to just work on what I want to work on. So I guess going back to what I was saying about my story, it's like I spent the first almost decade out of high school trying so hard to make something work, but I didn't understand that quitting is acceptable if it puts you onto a better path Let me read the. Hold on. Explain the sunken cost fallacy in a short fable, where the main character goes on to find a better path. I think it's sunk cost fallacy, not sunken. All right, well, it's generating me a fable. So let's read it, see what it comes up with. Well, it's talking about the frog in the flooded hole. Make it about humans. I know it's a fable, but let's make it about humans. A man starting building a bridge across the river. Halfway through, the wood began to rot. The current got stronger. He kept working anyway. Got weeks on this, he said. If I quit now, it would be all for nothing. No, actually, let's make this. Make it over the course of a decade before discovery. I want this to hit home the way that I think about it in my head. So let's try this again. At 22, he started building a road under the mountains. He dreamed it would lead to gold. Year after year, he poured in time, money, and energy. He lost friends, missed birthdays, his body ached, but he kept going. 10 years in, he told himself, I can't stop now. He believed turning back would make it all worthless. By 32, the path was nearly done, but there was no goal, just cliffs and dead ends. One day, a traveler crossed nearby and asked, why not walk the valley trail? It's shorter, it leads to the same village, no cliffs. The man paused. Everything in him wanted to finish his road. Oh, man, dude. That's hitting for me. The man paused. Everything in him wanted to finish his road, but he looked at the dirt on his hands, the cracks in his boots, the silence of the mountain. So he left the road behind, took the valley path, found peace, purpose, and people. He didn't waste 10 years. He just stopped wasting year 11. Ooh, that's good. He didn't waste 10 years. He just stopped wasting year 11. Let's see this. Let's see if I can do this. Make it about fitness coaching and then finding true purpose with software development. Cherry picking. The coach who took the long way. At 22, he became a fitness coach. He loved training, loved helping, but deep down, something felt off. Year after year, he kept grinding, posting, coaching, selling. By 30, he spent nearly a decade building programs that didn't fulfill him. Every time doubt crept in, he'd say, I've already put too long into this. I can't just quit. Then one night, while I made client check-ins, he fucking knows me. It's kind of weird. He built a small tool to make the process easier. It felt fun, natural, effortless. He kept building. By 31, he wasn't selling fitness. He was building software that helped others do it better. He found peace in creation, purpose in systems fulfillment, and problem solving. He didn't fail as a coach. He just outgrew it and finally stopped forcing what no longer fit. It kind of was corny. I don't feel like I outgrew anything. I just felt like I was trying to put a round peg in a square hole. It just was not working. I think I really wanted to make it work because I tried it the first time. Again, so I'm going to tell the story for the 18th time. Tried it the first time. Joined the same program that I'm in. And how I joined the program, I said, hey, Brian, before I join, I have a couple questions. So that's how I started the whole conversation off. Before I join, I have a couple questions. That's a weird thing to say. Before I join, I have a couple questions. That's almost like, hey, no matter what the answer is, I'm joining. So we joined. It was $300 a month. I thought that was crazy at the time, but tried to make it happen. And I actually saw some success. But at that time, I had an Instagram account that had 31,000 followers. And I think that helped me more than I like to admit. Because when I would post something, it would get 100, 200 likes. Or get a couple shares or get comments. I had that publicity in a sense because I was building all the hype up and posting every single day and doing all this stuff, posting nothing but my body for the fitness competition that I did. And then the Instagram thing stayed around and I did the follow unfollow thing on mass scale, automated that. And see, there's more shit like that in my history, but automated that. And then that's how I got 31,000 followers. And that's not bullshit. I really did. I deleted the account, I think, 3 years ago. And again, just for egotistical reasons. I'm like, dude, this makes me feel like I have to act a certain way because I have so many followers. And, reflecting back now, I don't know if I think that was true. I think I wanted it to seem true so that people thought that I was some type of way. And that's how both insecure and egotistical I guess I am. And so I guess I'm aware of this now. It's very good for me. But anyway, there's that. And So I joined the program and saw some success. And then I remember being at the Denver airport. I was going to Disney World with my ex's family, and I sent 19 one-minute long voice memos to Brian over Instagram explaining a made-up situation so that I could leave the program. He didn't listen, and he said, "You expect me to listen to 19, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "Yeah, I explained everything." I was trying to be so nice, so cordial. I didn't want 1 ounce of, "Yeah, fuck you, dude, listen," I didn't want any of that because I wanted to get out. And fast forward a little bit, a couple emails go back and forth, I got out. I actually still have the emails. And so maybe, I don't know, that'll go in the archives. I also had that thought real quick of going through everything in my Google Photos and everything, and sorting them into folders, making duplicates, so that way I just know when things happened at what times in my life for one big giant archive folder. That is my life, because this whole podcast is going to be that, and I want to have the most detailed that I can documentation of the journey that I can. Because Alex Hormozy has said this, and he says that, because he's worth hundreds of millions now. A decade ago, he was doing what I was doing, just trying to sell fitness, And he said that he wished he would have taken more photos of the shitty times because that's what he cherishes most now, something like that. He doesn't have enough photos to look back and see that he's grown, or sitting on his floor, on his laptop, or whatever the case may be for him. He didn't take enough photos, and I still don't take enough photos, but I have this podcast, and that's something. So if I can just have everything kind of sorted out and all that, then yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool. It'd be really cool. But anyway, where was I going with that? Oh yeah, so I joined that, bailed out of that, joined the second one, and that was on my ex-girlfriend's dime at the time, because she, at the time, she believed in me and she wanted me to make this happen, and that was very great. And then kind of a similar thing, because she joined as well. It was like we did it together, but it was interesting because she was coming off losing weight herself, and to be completely honest, I don't think she knew at all what she was talking about. Half the shit that she did, it was because I set it up, and that's okay. However, there's like an ethical thing for me. Like, if she doesn't know what she's talking about, but she's charging money to help people with their shit, I don't know. I mean, all you need to do is know one more thing than the person you're helping to be qualified or the expert to help them, For example, right now, I could help somebody learn very, 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 very basic Swift shit. Past that, can't help anybody. But to somebody who's learning, they're not going to know the difference. They're just going to know that I know something they don't, and I can help them. But anyway, did it together, didn't work, bailed out on that. Thank goodness. So we just clean split. So we just broke off. It's all good. Fast forward to 2013. I'm in Colorado, and by the way, that was in 2021. So 23 rolls around, and I'm like, dude, I can fucking do this. Are you kidding me? Why I gave up twice? I can do this. I can self-fit. I do it easy. I got this. I know I can. So I sign up with NLCA, still have the whole program now, and the whole mastermind course, whatever you want to call it. This wouldn't be a mastermind, but still have access to that whole thing. I joined, and then I think 2 months into it, I realized, dude, what am I doing? This is not it. I don't want to be a fitness coach. And that's actually why I stopped. I even emailed and I said, yeah, I'm actually don't even want to do this. I deleted this account. I canceled all this. I just don't want to do it anymore. It's not for me. I thought it was, but turns out it's not. And they were understanding, and they cut some money off the price, but I still had to pay the remaining amount. And that took the next year to pay off. And then I actually paid that off while living at my uncle's house, to then move out, and then 5 months later sign up for another one. And this one was the most expensive one that I've done. So then I signed up for this one in October, and I distinctively remember talking about, okay, October, I'll just finish the first onboarding course, and then by November, we'll get my first client, just one. Just going to focus on one. Then December, just one. January, we're going to focus on getting 3, because I feel like I can get some New Year's people. And then, February we'll probably just get 3 again. March, definitely get 4. April, we'll focus on getting 4, just maintaining. And, here we are mid-April. I have yet to land one client. However, a lot of it is due to me just not putting in the reps, not trying, not putting in the effort. I'm just ultimately, I didn't do what was required, period. But it's not that I didn't know how to do any stuff. It's just that there was so much resistance for me. I just didn't want to. It was hard, dude. I don't want to sit on my phone for 2 hours and just try to find people to message. I don't want to have to worry about coming across a certain way on camera to look at someone or have someone look at the video and then they want to look more at my page. Like that. There's all respect to everybody who does this. There's so many moving parts and there's so many things you have to focus on and there's so many things you have to make work daily. And again, mad respect to people who make it work. It's for me, I don't know if that shit's for me right now. Maybe I need to learn a lot more skills. Maybe I need a lot more perspective. Maybe nothing. Maybe all the above. Maybe nothing of the above. But it was so hard for me to want to even do that. Where I thrived was making all the spreadsheets, setting up all the forms, setting up all the SOPs, which is standing operating procedure, for myself. So if I didn't know what to, right here, I have it on my computer. It's called SOP for Podcast Efficiency. It's got 10 steps and it's the fastest way for me to name all the files, upload them, write about them and whatever. So I go step 1, name, voice, memo, copy it, export audio in Adobe. And then while that's still copied and pasted, paste it into the pods file, then paste it in the transcription file, and paste it into Podbean. Then copy the transcript, paste it into ChatGPT, summarize it, then paste the transcript while that's generating ChatGPT into the transcription file, and while that's doing that, when that's done, paste the summary into the pods file, which is what I upload, then write about it with the date, because that way I don't have to keep on copying back and forth. I just copy once, paste once, copy transcription once, paste once, and then with the little keyboard keystroke that I made, you just click that, and then you got the date in the exact format that I want, and then I paste it into Podbean, and then I send it. And that is the fastest, most efficient way that I've come up with to do this podcast bullshit. And it's literally taped right on my monitor. I can see it every time that I upload a podcast. And then right next to it, I still have what is the one thing I can do such by doing everything else easier and necessary, which I really like that. Which for me, that's just learning how to code right now. What's the one thing I can do such that by doing everything else will be easier or unnecessary? We'll make everything else easier. Learning how to do shit. Okay. What's the one thing I can do right now to get in the NBA? Well, I can learn how to play basketball. We'll start there, So, yeah, that just brings us to present time now, where I'm like, have I just been putting so much time into this thing that I actually don't want to do, and feeling like I would be a failure if I quit, or that I would regret it if I quit? Part of me still thinks that me being me, I will. I'm going to be 80 years old, be talking to my grandson, whatever, and I'll say, dude, I quit on this fitness coaching thing. I could have done it. And me, I probably will say that shit. That's who I am. But I don't know. If I have a well-off fucking life and I make a lot of impact with software and coding and all this stuff, if that's even what I do forever, I'm sure I won't give a shit. I'm sure I'll say, Matt, dude, I just had a little feeling. I'm sure that I will say I am so glad that I found out as soon as I did, much later than I would have wanted, but it could have been much later, and I could have wasted another decade trying to make it work. But, truth is, it wasn't a full decade. I started doing this in 2020-ish. I want to say late 2020. I'm trying to think about this. Yeah, because this happened because I was working at EOS. COVID bullshit was going on, and I had this sanitizer gun that had wrapping aerosol technology that when I would spray something, it would wrap around, for example, a barbell, and it would just get ultimately sanitized. And whatever, I don't know. But yeah, so that's when that happened. So it was all COVID time, and I was like, oh, EOS is still open during COVID? Yeah, so that's when that started. So 2020, That's right, because I remember thinking, yeah, everyone else is being scared as shit. We just quit our jobs. We're doing this. Let's fucking go. And because I did. I actually did quit my job to make this happen. I was also living at home when this happened, and then I realized I wasn't making money. And I also remember my stepdad at the time, because I had a whiteboard, and I said, I can make $10,000 a month. That's what I wrote on the whiteboard. My stepdad said, if you're going to be making that kind of money, you got to find a place to stay. And I didn't like that he said that. It kind of made me feel, I don't know. It made me feel some type of way. My mom didn't like it, but no need to air out family laundry. It's all good. But that happened, and that's something to think about. And anyway, so where was I going with all of that? Yeah, that's when I quit. So since 2020. So we got 2020 to 2021. That's 1 year to 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So yeah, we'll just say 5 years on the dot. Even though I took a break for about 2 years. So yeah, I mean, I think I'm exaggerating. It wasn't 10 years, but it definitely wasn't 5. It's probably like 3.5, 4. Truthfully speaking, it's probably 3. Final answer. God damn, 3. Because when I was moving around, I moved from St. George to Arizona to Colorado. That was about 2 years of my life. Didn't even think about fitness. That's kind of when I fell off the gym hard. Makes you wonder what I'd be like if I never quit the gym. But it is what it is. That's why 75 Hard just changed my entire life forever. And here we are. I'm on day 6. So cool stuff. And also, I'm gonna say straight up, this program's so inconvenient, man. It's just so inconvenient because what I'm doing is intermittent fasting, getting 200 grams of protein in, and trying to do that at work to start, work out during that, do another outdoor workout during that, and then finish eating by a certain time so that I'm good to go, so that it fits in with my life schedule and my social life, which my social life is also my romantic life, which is Lexi, because I have friends. However, I would prefer to just hang the fuck out by myself or spend time with Lexi. So here's the thing. I think in an ideal world, I would stop eating. I don't know. Let me think of this. I'd probably stop eating. Here's the thing. So Lexi and I have date night, and we go out to dinner. I would say most of the time. And we're not done eating if we are quick about it or until around 7:30, 8 o'clock, sometimes later. So that means that my feeding window would have to start at 12. That doesn't work for my schedule at work. That's because I go to lunch at 10:30. I push it to 11, so I eat from 11 to 7. 7 is pushing it, so on the weekends I stretch it, and so that way we can eat dinner, we can do whatever together. But then if I stretch it, that means the next morning we don't get to eat breakfast together, and it's kind of a bummer. So it doesn't really work, but it works for my fitness goals and it works for my, my health. It works great for that. It is hard to get the protein in, and it feels like I'm always trying to figure out how am I getting the protein in. It's because if I'm starting it at work, so I have to pack it, whatever I'm packing, take it to work, eat it, and if I run out, then I run out. With that food, it's got to fuel me for my workout. I'm going right home after the workout, and I'm going to drink a protein shake. And so if I'm getting home around 4:30, I'm going to have to down that protein shake. And assuming that I'm all caught up with everything, I'm going to have to down at least 70 grams more, 50 grams more. It's actually closer to 50 between 4:30 and 7. And in that time frame, all I want to do, especially now, is just sit at my desk with my laptop and just do my shit. I don't want to have to worry about eating. I don't want to have to worry about quite literally anything else. And so I think, I don't know, truthfully speaking, I know everybody else they have their own life and their own schedule. But when I'm at work, it's just like, yeah, bug me as much as you want. But when I'm on my own time, don't fucking bother me. Don't even, it's kind of how I feel. But obviously, people don't know schedule. People don't, it's all good. You got to be a human being. But doesn't mean I can't express my concerns here, or my preferences, I should call them. But anyway, I could talk in circles about this. I'm just feeling really good about things, And I just got to keep on going, keep on learning. I'm just trying to learn from the perspective of certain people. For example, Dan Martell, he's a guy who's in the whole, I'm going to say he's in the scope of entrepreneurs that I follow. So you got Alex Ramosi, Andy Frisella, all these people like that. And you got Dan Martell, he's up there. You got, what's his name, dude? I just listened to the podcast. I don't know. Chris Williamson, David Goggins, Joe Rogan, just that. In my mind, he's in that scope of people. Not the same caliber, not the same industry, but just that scope. If you just type in entrepreneur, you type in success or millionaire or whatever, these people pop up, You got Alex Hormozi, Layla Hormozi, Cody Sanchez. There's people that I like learning from, and he's part of it. Just so happens that he started all of his shit from coding when he was 17 years old. And it's cool because, he's talking about a lot of things that, he said he's a systematizer. That's what he likes. I'm like, dude, here we go. This is my boy right here. You gotta listen to this guy. And yeah, I'm learning a lot of different things from him. But more importantly, it's just the perspective, because he's talking about software and blah, blah, blah. And, there's so many markets that are saturated, but software development is not, because it's got such a high skill floor. Meaning if you want to get into it, you're going to have to know a lot up front. You can't just walk in and expect to know how to make a website, So that's why I'm trying to learn Swift. Is it the best place to start? I don't know, but I want to make apps, so figure why not. Also, it's never going to hurt me to know more languages and information. So if I learn Swift and it turns out that I'm not going to need that for the first 20 projects, then so be it. But at least I'll have basic understanding of how coding works, and learning other languages will be easier. Because if I can learn Swift, then maybe that makes Python 5% easier to learn. And because I know both Python and Swift, maybe it makes HTML, and JavaScript, and CSS, and I don't even know what else there is, dude. Maybe it makes those easier. And maybe because I know 6 languages now, maybe everything else is just cake. Not to mention, it's 2025. Any question that I have, especially with coding and software development, can be answered quickly, efficiently, and very accurately with ChatGPT. And I've already used it plenty of times. I'm using that 100 Days of Swift course, and I'm doing day 6 right now. My goal was to finish day 6 today, but just given the time constraints, I don't think I'll be able to do it. But all good. There's been a couple times where I'm following the course and something isn't explained as clearly as I would like. So I take a screenshot, put it in ChatGPT, and I'm like, hey, what is this supposed to put into the console? What is this supposed to do? And what's the point? When would I use this? Because I found that for me, when I'm learning, and it says, hey, we're gonna use this integer, and this integer is gonna represent a number of times that this person swings a golf club, and we're gonna use the fucking formula. I don't know, the value, the data type, whatever, of set, and then we're going to use set because arrays are different. When it explains to me why we're going to do something and how it applies in real life, like, hey, if someone's trying to select their theme, they want to have it light or dark, this is how you would do it. And if you want to have something be true or false, this is how you do it. When it explains it in real life terms, where it's like, hey, in real life with a real software, with a real program, this is what it would be like. So this is what you do. That's bread and butter for me. I love that. So anyway, just trying to learn more. I have 10 pages left of my book. Actually, 10 on the dot, which is kind of cool. So I would like to buy a book today or tomorrow so that it gets here by Thursday, because today is Tuesday. And I would prefer if the book had more alignment with what I'm doing now. I think I'd be more interested. I don't want a book on coding. I don't even know if that would count for 75 Hard, but I want a book that is written by some kind of tech CEO to get his perspective. Now, Dan Martell is a good guy for the job here, but he has a book, and it's mainly focused on buying back your time, not coding necessarily. But maybe it's just the mindset that I need to start developing. I don't know. And there's 0 to 1, I think it is. 0 to... I can't remember. But yeah, got to figure that out. And then as far as the deferred resignation goes, still waiting to hear back on that. And I will say that it is so fucking cool to have a couple of go-getters around me trying to make some shit happen and trying to take advantage of this opportunity in life. I think there's 3 other guys that I work with that took advantage of this. And I'd like to believe that I had some influence there. But I also don't believe that, because the first time that I did this, nobody did shit. You know, everyone was kind of questioning everything. And it is what it is. But now, you know, I'm still gung-ho, and people are like, oh, yeah, you're going to do it? And I'm like, dude, of course. I'm just going to do the first one. This is a less better deal for me. I'm still going to do it. And so we got 4 people total in the shop that did it. And I honestly thought that a lot of people bailed out last second or something like that. But I come into the shop today, and I'm like, hey, did you do it? And people are like, oh, yeah, I did. I did this, and waiting to hear back from this, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, let's fucking go. That's awesome. You know, I'm getting hyped up at that fact. But then I think about, if it goes through, then I'm gone, and then there goes seeing these funny ass people daily. You know, I work with a lot of cool people. I also work with a lot of people that I don't have nice words for, but it's all good. Truthfully speaking, it's just like I just don't want to be surrounded by that standard. That sounds so arrogant, dude. If you're sleeping at your desk, or if you're just on your phone in the corner all the time, when you could be working, when there's work to do on your team, I don't know. I don't know, dude. Man, all good. Not trying to restart. But anyway, a lot of people I work with, you know, these people that I'm talking to, I'm like, oh, you did the resignation? They're like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah, dude. And, you know, it's like, oh, man, after I quit, realistically, I'm probably not going to see these people. Not going to say ever again, but I'm probably just not going to see them anymore. You know, might run into them, maybe. But only reason why I even met him is because I go to a place to make money so I can, you know, afford life. Not like I wanted to go build canopies, you know. A side note, they make it seem badass, and then you get there and it's like, oh, well, you guys are slow, gotta get better, gotta get faster, all good, you know, but it's neither here nor there. But yeah, it got me thinking, you know, it's like, it's kind of bittersweet. It's like, hell yeah, I'm stoked to be out of here, but also, man, this sucks. I'm not going to see you anymore, dude. You're a good guy. Other part of me is like, yeah, I'm not going to see you anymore, you know. But that's just life, you know, and I'm fortunate to have learned the lesson when I was, when I was 20 years old, that not everything good lasts forever. And I like to believe that certain things do. And that is love, and that is, you know, the love or the memories or whatever you want to call them that you share in your heart of people. I think those things last forever. If you want them to, you can choose to love somebody forever. You can, and I think it's especially easier to do so, you know, if they're no longer with us. You know, I think it's funnier. It's easier to do that and to long for their feeling or their touch or their voice or whatever after they're gone. But when they're here and we can just call them up, it's like, fuck, she'll call me later. It's all good. But I don't know. Not trying to speak to anyone directly here, but you just never know when the last time you're going to speak to somebody is. And there's just things that happen and makes you think twice about things. So all that to say, I would like to say that I learned very young that not all good things last forever. Everything good must come to an end. And the reason for that, quick story, shared it before, but I'll share it again. When I was going to UVU, I would like to say, the funniest roommates I've ever had, the funniest friends I've ever had ever in my life. Every single day, I would cry laughing. We would also play multiple games. We'd probably play 10 games of Monopoly a week. I'm not exaggerating. That's probably what we did. We prank called. We fucked with our neighbors. We threw shit off the balcony. We went to the gym. We went to bed at crazy hours. We did school activity shits. Had a couple classes together. Every single night, I was laughing my ass off. And then almost overnight, things changed and it was never the same. And I think that's when it clicked for me that, damn, dude, I wasn't really ready for that to be over, but now it is, and so I guess I got to move on. And now that, you know, compared to what some people might have experienced, it's probably nothing. It's probably very trivial. And a couple of roommates move out, not a big deal. But I don't know. Ever since then, I'm like, oh man, I'm working at this job, got these people. It's not going to last forever, dude. And I had that same belief when I was in St. George. I had that same belief when I was in Arizona. I had the same belief in Colorado. I had that a lot in Colorado. And now here I am. And I think I've actually kind of forgotten a little bit. But now talking about it, I feel better. Like everything's... If you really want to think about it, everything is temporary. It just depends on how long that temporary is. You know, Earth. It's going to get hit by an asteroid in the future. It's going to explode. Something's going to happen. So it's temporary. Doesn't mean that it's not temporary if it's a billion years. It is temporary. But for our tiny little time on Earth, I guess you could say it's permanent. But, you know, perspective, I guess. But yeah, going back to what I was saying here, it's bittersweet for sure. Because if you look at the calendar, assuming that I'm out on May 1st, that means I have 2 weeks left. Actually, 2 weeks left. Officially, 2 weeks left. If it goes through. I'm confident that things will go through and things will work out. And if I'm wrong, then it's all good. But, I don't know. Definitely a lot of changes coming in my future, that's for sure. So I'll probably work for Mina the next couple weeks. Peace out. And then go back to being a delivery boy for the time being. And then focusing my time on learning the skill that I should have started learning years ago, you know? Honestly speaking, when I started the show, when I said, you know, my story later on, what kept going through my head, and I guess it just makes me feel arrogant saying it out loud, but it makes me feel like, because I mean this when I say that people have said that I'm too smart for my own good a lot in my life. And I've been told by a couple people, quit thinking that you're too smart for this, or you're not too good for this, or you're not too smart, or I've been told that a lot. And I think when Mina, what episode was that? I'll make a software that finds it. All good. Don't worry about it, guys. I got it. I'm just going to call everything. So they got Nito. I'm going to call it BQ dot transcribe. Fun fact, everything that I have is BQ dot whatever. BQ phone, BQ AirPods, BQ speaker, BQ car, BQ laptop, everything. So if you want to hack my shit, there you go. Just playing, please don't hack me. But the thing that I felt like I was just holding back earlier was I've been told, oh yeah, Mina, so that episode that he told me, you're too smart for your own good. When he said that triggered something within me because I started crying, dude. And I don't think that was anything other than just frustration, because I think from the bottom of my heart, if I'm too smart, then why isn't any of this working for me? If I'm too smart, or if I'm whatever, why is this so hard for me? If I'm too good, if I'm too smart for my own good, why do I struggle with all this shit? Why is this? Why? Just why is it so hard for me, man? You know? And so when I think about it that way, it's like, yeah, that's definitely my story. I call it a gift, call it a natural life path that I should have followed, but didn't. And it took me a while to realize I was on the wrong path. I mean, I guess I'm still young as shit. But I'd like to have discovered this when I was 19, you know, not 27. And you can't do anything about it. So, as Gary Vee would say, all this looking back is fucking with your neck, right? But yeah, I mean, young Mazda boss, quit thinking you're too fucking smart, man. Mina, hey, you're too smart for your own good. People in the group, you know, you're quit overthinking it. You're trying to worry about, you know, paralysis by analysis, all this stuff. I don't know, just various little things. So it's like, I'm too smart for this, but I'm not doing well. So it's just frustration. So it didn't come out as sadness when I said that, or hurt or whatever. It was just frustration. It's like, if I'm too smart for this, why the fuck am I not winning? If I'm too smart for this, why am I struggling so bad? in another way, if I'm so rich, why am I so poor, you know? And I think maybe I've just been looking in the wrong stack, you know? I don't know, maybe I've just been going down the wrong path. I've just been following, I don't know. Because I'll tell you what, dude, these last few days have been nothing but, they've just been nothing but excitement for me. I'll be honest, 75 hard is putting a damper on things. Because in an ideal world, I go to work, I go to the gym, I come home, and I just fucking sit there and I do my thing. That's not the best way to live life as far as taking care of your body and health and all that stuff. But in a parallel universe, Bryson is going to work, skipping the gym, coming home, and doing what he wants to do as far as software or whatever. All night long, staying up late, waking up, you know, slamming down 3 monsters, whatever, and then living, you know, and then shit, you know, 10 years later makes the next Facebook. I don't know. But going back to the age-old saying of this podcast, which comes, it's not age-old, it's like a year old. It's from Alex Ramosi. But I cannot fail if I do not quit. So you can say, and truthfully, I think, okay, here's an observation. I don't know how this podcast is an hour long already, but here's another observation. I think if you would have asked me years ago if I would have been upset that I have to delete everything and delete all my posts or whatever and stop posting about fitness and take the post down and whatever, and somebody asked, I have to say no, would that bother me? I think I would have said yes, I'm going to keep it all up. And that's why I kept the testimonials up for so long on Google reviews, because I wanted people to know that I still had that. And kind of glad that I kept them, but this go around, maybe they weren't as beneficial as I thought. But in the past, I think there would have been some insecurity or some ego there of people saying, oh, he deleted his shit again, he gave up again. But now, dude, I hope people think that so that I can just get off the radar if I'm even on it, and I can just kind of slump down, do my thing, build whatever I'm going to build in silence, and then come out and say, hey, built this. You can use it if you want. But the most important part of all this is that every single day I'm doing something that I want to do. I'm challenging myself. I'm expanding my mind. I'm learning new things daily. I mean, coding is not infinite. There's a finite number of variables and shit, right? Finite number of data types and all this different stuff, for sure. I guess in some aspects it is infinite, but there's only so many functions. You can't tell me it's infinite. You can just make shit up, you know? Or formulas or whatever. Same with Excel. Like, it might be infinite, but it's not really. It's just huge. So coding is huge. It's not infinite. So in theory, I could learn everything there is to know about coding. In theory, I could. For example, I don't think you could learn everything there is to know about life. And I guess to some extent, life is of finite knowledge because it's not infinite knowledge, because there is a cap on things that have happened. And so once you know everything that's happened, and all the emotions and all the feelings and all the everything, I mean, it would be impossible for any one person to gather all that much information and process it and absorb it and know it to be true. So nobody will ever do it. But I don't think it's infinite. Same with the universe, dude. We only think that it's infinite because we've not found an edge or a border or whatever. And even if there was an edge or a border, it begs the question, what's on the other side? And so I guess in that regard, it is infinite, you know? But as far as tangible things, like, for example, there's a finite number of apples on this world. There's not infinite. There's not an infinite supply somewhere. You could argue that seeds, plant them, grow them, you know, it's infinite, blah, blah. But actual apples, they're not infinite. There's not infinite houses. They're not infinite grains of sand. Large numbers, but they're not infinite. So what I'm trying to get at here is something that doesn't even matter anymore. But I, in theory, could learn everything there is to know about coding. And that might take 80 years. But as long as I'm doing that, I'm getting better. And whatever makes me better is going to transition to so many different areas of my life, you know? The one downside I will say that with all this software development stuff that I'm just enamored by now is that you need to use your brain, and you need to use your brain hard. And that's all you use, you know? You don't need social skills to learn how to code. You don't need to be good on camera to learn how to code. You don't need to post on social media to grow your coding, whatever, you know? I mean, I guess it's different later on. Don't gotta be good at really anything other than solving problems in your head and connecting dots and learning new languages with numbers and parentheses and brackets and braces and periods and commas, semicolons, all that shit. All this stuff that I told Chat Gabriel Pete Thomas to not ever use because fuck all that. But yeah, I don't know how. Is it funny that the last couple podcasts have been some of the longest back to back, and I'm talking about shit that excites me? Is that a coincidence? I don't know. Honestly, I had a thought. I'm going to share this and then get the fuck off because I got to go. But I kind of want to sell my camera that I just got, and because it's past the return date, which kind of blows. It's all good. But if I sold that for even, no, it'd definitely be more because it's brand new. It's a nice camera. I mean, the model is brand new too. But if I sold, so I got it for $750. If I sold it for $600 or $500, I don't know, just take a little hit on it. I could then use that money and get a nice podcast set up. So it would essentially be a free mic, if you want to look at it that way. And the mic would be much better than this one because this one is a Fi-Fine mic. It is $30 off of Amazon. So I could use that $500 from the camera, spend $300 of it on a nice microphone, and then the quality of this podcast would jump drastically. Not that that's ever been a focus of the show, but for the ones where I'm sitting down talking to the mic, like this one, it would be a lot better. I also had this idea. So, dude, I got to hurry and god damn it. Okay, so what is Stephen Bartlett's thing he talks about with teaching on Twitter every night? Something he learned to solidify his learning. 85 typos. So Stephen Bartlett, Diary of a CEO Guy, podcast author, he says, so in the book he talks about one of these laws. He says, Stephen Bartlett, this in ChatGPT says, Stephen Bartlett practices a method of reinforcing his learning by teaching others. He emphasizes that teaching is a final step in mastering a subject, as it compels you to organize and articulate your understanding clearly. By sharing insights regularly, such as through social media or public speaking, he solidifies his knowledge and continues to grow intellectually. How does he actually do this? He selects a topic to understand deeply, versus it, but he still lists as a He conveys the idea to others, often by posting it online or discussing it publicly to receive feedback. He assesses whether his explanation was understood by others. If not, he revisits the topic to improve his understanding and explanation. So I say this because I want to hammer home every single thing I learn with everything I'm learning right now with software and code. So what if I just recorded a YouTube video every night, or not every night, just whenever I learn something new? Just, it could be 30 seconds long, just explaining that one thing, not to help others. Of course, that's awesome, and I want to help others, but not for that reason, but to help me understand it. And in doing so, develop a name for myself long-term over all the time doing all this. And also, if the video is like 3 minutes long, then I could get some ad revenue, and if I have fucking 900 videos explaining everything at the end of time, then I don't know, just thought. So it would help me learn, and it would just help me get better. I just had that thought. I'm not going to overwhelm myself by any means. Definitely going to finish what I'm doing now as far as learning how to do the basics of the language that I chose. Kind of makes you think that I should have learned a different language to start, but what is the most beneficial language to learn first in software development? If I want to build a lot of cool shit solo. It's going to tell me HTML and JavaScript. Yep, JavaScript. Runs in every browser, works with Node.js, massive ecosystem, tons of tutorials, libraries, frameworks, build everything, landing pages, dashboards, Chrome extensions. Bonus stack, HTML, CSS, yep, JavaScript, just super basic. Yeah, if you're more data focused or into automation, then Python. If you're building for Apple only, Swift. If you're making games, C. How do you pronounce that? It's a C pound. just C with Unity. But for building cool stuff solo fast, JavaScript is king. See, all good. I'm just going to keep going with Swift. We're finished 100 days. At this rate, I'll finish it in a month. That's fine. Having a month worth of knowledge of something like this, not to mention 19 projects, that'll be cool. Then we'll go maybe to a different language or something like that. I don't know. Maybe I'll go to JavaScript. Oh, let's see. How similar is JavaScript to Swift? Not similar at all. They're not very similar. They're not very similar, but here's where they overlap and diverge. JavaScript is like HTML. That's the same shit, right? Both can build interfaces, component-based thinking. Major differences. I don't even know. If you learn JavaScript first, you'll grasp logic and UI concepts faster in Swift UI. But syntax and environment will feel very different. Learning both is a strong move if you're building across web and iOS. How similar is JavaScript and Python? It's probably really close, actually. They're similar in logic, different in syntax. For I in range 1.6, print I. For let I equals 1 I. JavaScript looks messy, and I don't know shit about coding, but anyway, I need to get off this podcast. What I need to do right now, it's 6:03 p.m. I need to heat up about 6 ounces of chicken and just eat that. And I also need to eat my yogurt, and I also need to do that within the next hour. But I need to leave to go to Lexi's right now. So that means I'm going to have chicken and yogurt on my way to her to then go walk 3 miles in the heat. Love it. All good, though. I'll be very appreciative that I'm not going to regret ever doing this. I'll tell you what. So it's all good. All right. I went on way too long. Thank you guys for listening. If I have my podcast app, shorter organizer tagger shit, I would just click record, done, be over with this, and then it would just be done. And that'd be great. So maybe I need to do that, the improved quality of life thing for me. But I don't know how to use Python. Okay. Love you guys. Thanks so much for listening. Bye. That's it for today. If you got some sort of value or you were entertained, please consider leaving a rating on the platform that you're listening on. It helps a ton. If you are looking for a more polished version of this show, you can check out the Allegiant Excellence podcast, where I go deep into mindset, discipline, fitness, and personal development as a man. And don't forget to check out the links below and read the description. There are sometimes things written there that didn't quite make it on the episode. So thank you so much for your ongoing support and a guy that has massive ambition, but nothing to show for it quite yet. And as always, thank you for taking time out of your day to listen and support. I'll see you tomorrow.